Hey! Coming out here to make a very quick garden video. Here's Ember's little garden. We've got a tomato plant which hasn't done very much. This place, this location is apparently pretty shady. We got a marigold about to bloom, and this flower I think is done with its blooming. It had like a, I think it was like a Gerber daisy. She picked her green peppers and ate them before they were ripe. But it looks like maybe we've got some fruit setting. We've got some tiny strawberries. These plants were covered up with blooms for a little bit there. And these flowers bloomed again and have stopped since then. Look at this. Amber told me she planted some new flowers in her garden. Dandelions that she picked, and she just stuck the stems in the ground. Looks like my butterfly bush is getting ready to rebloom. I need to come through and deadhead this. I've done part of it, but it just doesn't take priority. My little tiny spoon tomatoes are just covered up, but I haven't seen a single red one yet. There are just lots of these little bitty tiny tomatoes. They're gonna be red, so I'll know when they're ripe. But white marigolds are looking very pretty though. There's so much disease on these tomato plants, and it looks like whenever the initial fruit that they put out ripens, I'm gonna pull a lot of these plants because look at that one, it's blushing. There's just too much disease. I don't think there's even blooms at the top of these plants on a lot of them. This zinnia is gonna bloom soon. But we've got lots of big tomatoes on the initial fruit on these. Let's see, these didn't do anything. There's more flowers up here though. This is almost as tall as me. Lots of very tall tomato plants. I've been trying to keep them all pruned and keep pulling off the diseased and wilted branches, but it just keeps spreading. These are gonna be some gnarly cat-faced tomatoes, but they're large. Look at that celosia. And my pretty petunias over here. They've been rained on, so they're not as fluffy looking as they normally are. We'll see if these get to go to maturity. I accidentally broke the vine a little bit, pulling off one that had a blossom end rod on it. Basil's looking good. It's time for some homemade pesto. See this one. This plant is waist high. Pull off these blooms. Lots and lots of tomatoes. I'm not sure how much of that one will be edible, but I'm gonna let it try anyways. But yeah, all this rain has caused so much disease on my plants. I'm definitely gonna have to pull them and do a second planting. My Mexican sunflower's getting tall. This is a little over knee high now. Pretty pink zinnias. This spindly looking plant actually gave me my first ripe tomato. I picked it the other day. It was a good sized one. So even if there's disease, there's fruit happening. But I've picked a tomato, and I've been picking basil And over here I've got lots of banana peppers. That's not a banana pepper, that's a weed. Banana peppers. And these are apparently spicy peppers. I used some to make some salsa the other day, and they were very good. Little watermelon plants and tomato plants. Boss is gonna hang me another trellis for this row. These tomatoes are starting to lay over, but they've got fruit on them already. I'm hoping this is where my chocolate cherry tomatoes were last year, and these are the ones that volunteered, so I'm hoping that's what these are, because those produced very well. But yeah, a lot of my cherry tomatoes got planted later than the other ones. Lots of pretty cleomes. They're really pretty. I bet you can't guess what they smell like. The name of these is cleome. They're not not the same thing, but they're very close cousins apparently. Got some more purple basil over here, and my blue spice basil is all blooming, and my chamomile started blooming. I really need to come through here and pull out a lot of this grass. This squash plant of some sort is doing very well. We've got lots of little babies. Might be a spaghetti squash. My kale is eaten up by bugs at this point. We've been snacking on this broccoli though. It's we just pull off the little sprouts and eat them. They're very tasty. I prefer whatever this one was over that one though. This one also, this one was a broccoli plant. Sprouted pretty white flowers. Over here we have a melon that looks just like a cucumber, almost just like a cucumber, but these are not cucumbers. My friend told me that they're going to be kind of like a small honeydew, so we're excited for those. Ember comes out and checks on them every day and asks when she can pick them. These pepper plants over here are pretty happy. Just putting life into the fruit. My beans over here have started flowering. These are all, yeah, these are starting to bloom too. But this variety is noticeably flowering. Oh, there's a cucumber plant. That's my Bayet Alpha cucumbers. That's exciting. I thought I wasn't gonna have any this year. And these are my green beans that I reseeded. My Blue Lake bushes. Gonna have some zinnias blooming over here decently soon. Lemongrass is still doing good. It blends right in with the rest of the grass, but it smells so lemony. Let's put in some work over here in the garden jungle. We've decided it's been taken over by grass enough that we're just going to turn it into an orchard. So I'll show you what we've got planted here. Here's my marjoram that has bloomed and is still doing just fine. All through here we have bare root grapevines that have started putting out their leaves. Yay, they're not dead. This one's going to be a Concord seedless, and we've just planted grapes along the trellis that I initially had here for tomatoes. So there's 2 Concords and then 2 different varieties of white grapes, or yellow, green, whatever. I think one of them actually looks white. I don't know what's going on with the peach tree. Somebody's turning it to lace, but it's looking very bushy and happy. Maybe it'll give us some fruit next year. It's actually 2 peach trees side by side. I don't know if I've pointed that out yet. but it's like 10 feet tall at this point. He mowed everything and left my bee balm. It's gonna be blooming soon, so there's a lot of it. It's like a big bush that comes up every year now. And here's my catnip that is literally chest high, blooming already. And my strawberry mint, he saved some of it, so I've got lots of pretty purple blooms on my strawberry mint. This stuff is so fragrant. I smell it every time I walk past it. I think this is a blue sage salvia that I planted here last year and it came back. I love the color on these blooms. They're so like strikingly indigo. Not quite blue, not quite purple. So pretty. Here's a blueberry bush that my mama gave me. She's got lots of blueberries on her property and she had a baby one that sprouted, so she gave it to us. And over here, my lonely dahlia that comes back every year. I'm glad I had a cage around it because apparently it got bumped by the mower. But these are as tall as me now. So pretty. Down this row we have raspberries and blackberries. Some of them were bare root, some of them were not. So this one is going to be actually a white blackberry. And then I believe this one's the thornless blackberry. We won't see any fruit from these obviously this year. And then here's like a purple raspberry, and then the other ones were bare root raspberries. I'm getting swarmed by mosquitoes out here. This is a hyssop plant. It's blooming like crazy and the Japanese beetles love it. I'm about to start bringing my kids out here and telling them to pick the bugs off, and we'll go give them to the chickens as treats. Right here, look at that. This mullein. I planted it last year. It's as tall as me. And this one is the comfrey. Also big and pretty. Lots of cool looking blooms on it. I don't know that they're actually any color. I think they're just green. But it's got lots of blooms on it. It'll probably spread. And then other than that, Boss came out here and planted a few herbs for me. So here we've got lemon verbena, which I think is going to be like a bushy herb. Like it'll bush out a lot and be really big. And then we have a rosemary here. And I believe, yes, over there he planted another rosemary. We need to mulch around those so I don't forget they're there. Here's some blue tansy, which is not blooming yet, but it's bushed out a lot. And then I've just planted, I bought these hibiscus plants on sale at Lowe's in the clearance. Always look in the clearance section at Lowe's, because a lot of times the blooms will finish and they'll put them in clearance, and then once you plant them they'll bloom back out. So like I bought this weeks ago and it has put out so many buds that are gonna be pretty in pink. I think I had a peachy one and a pink one. No, this one's the peach. So yeah, the jungle is no longer quite as wild, but we're still working to tame it. And we picked all the blueberries off of my tiny bush over here. We're gonna move it soon and go put it with the other ones. We're gonna have a row of blueberries down the middle, but that's my garden. It's a work in progress, but isn't everything. I hope y'all have had a blessed Father's Day.